Not a sponsor. Hey, I caught you live when you were driving a little bit. I couldn't stick around though, man. Does that work? Taking that lunch break. What are you up to? You driving? John, how are you doing, sir? Yeah, I wish I could have hung out more. I would have liked to. I couldn't. I was in the building. John, how are you doing today? How's everything on your in your back door there? You're driving home, right on, man. I'm cool. I'm cool hanging out with you when you drive. Scoot, how are you doing? I'm doing good, man. You know, it's Friday, payday. I should go take care of some shit. I really need a haircut and a shave. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Yeah, I think you've seen most of this stuff. There's nothing groundbreaking here. Maybe the Springfield Hellion you haven't seen. I was asked to show it today. Midwest Perspective asked me several times to show them. It's just a Springfield Hellion. I like the gun. Yeah, you've seen most of them. I mean, no offense, and I hope you guys understand. Some of this is kind of clickbait, right? You got to have some bright stuff, draw people in, stupid sign, get their attention. I mean, I want to hang out. I want to get to know everybody. Absolutely, I was. I was looking around a little bit this morning, too. I told you I would. The purple one is my daughter's 22. It's a Ruger Mark IV 2245 Light. And that was one of the, Tallow, I think. Or no, it was a Lipsy. It was a Lipsy special, so that one doesn't have any iron sights on that. I bought that for her last year for her birthday. And she didn't want to shoot it at all last year. She shot it a couple times. But she shot iron sights. And she went to the dot. Number one, I think she gets discouraged because of how much the dot moves, right? The dots bounce. I mean, maybe they do for you guys, maybe they don't, but in a pistol, they bounce for me. And then she had a hard time finding it. But she's shooting it this year. She got a choice. She's going to make it or break it. But that I bought her for Steel Challenge. I mean, honestly, so if you look right below that, there's that camo gun there. That's a Volkorstrom Black Mamba. That's my Steel Challenge 22. I've never had a green dot, but I've read that, you know, the human body picks up green a whole lot better and faster than red. But I think I'm used to the red. But yeah, I bought her that last year. She picked out the color. I took her, and I thought I was doing her a solid by getting the one with the red dot right away. It was more expensive, which is just money, right? But you have no ability to put iron sights on it. Is it? Would you recommend it? I mean, I'm assuming you like it more, right? A lot faster. I don't know, even like some of my pistols, they have the front fiber optic, yeah. I should try it. I have enough pistols and rifles that could use dots that I guess if I really wasn't impressed. Yeah. I always kind of thought that it would blend in with the backdrop. I mean, obviously it's like a fluorescent green versus just a green grass or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe we'll try it. Spencer, how are you doing? Double tap. Hey, everybody hear this. Double tap the screen, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate it if you would. Spencer, I really appreciate it if you would. And yeah, everybody should have a 50 BMG. That's, That's a holy grail gun for most people to have. I mean, nothing like, hey, Scoot, you want to see something cool? And don't necessarily leave my live, right? Don't leave me hanging. But John Flame, I'm saying that right, John. Um, Man, that guy's got a collection and a half. I am thoroughly like in awe. You know, I'm good, man. How are you? How's Friday for you? Big plans for the weekend? Um, but John, man, oh man, you've been at it a long time. I think I asked you a question this morning. Roughly, how long have you been collecting? Um, I mean, I see some of that stuff, and I mean, yeah, California. Well, come to Wisconsin, man. You come to Wisconsin at some point. Get in touch with me. We'll go shoot it. But you gotta come to Wisconsin. A couple lives ago, I had people telling me about Euro Optic. It's a site I wasn't familiar with, but they're selling they're selling the M107s now for, you know, M82 money. I mean, you're talking 10 grand out the door, I guess. We looked them up. I thought the dude was actually full of shit. And so we pulled the site up. My son pulled it up, and we looked at it. No, man, they're legit. Price has come down on them, which is good. Bad for me, good for the next guy. Had that been the prices when I bought my M82, I would have bought the M107, but there was about a $5,000 difference. Out the door, set up, blah blah blah. The deployment package was only a few $1,000s. I think it was $3,000 difference, but I would have still had to buy an optic and stuff. So I bought the M82 so I could get the gun. I could buy some other shit with it. First gun in 1966 at age 11. What was your first gun? There you go, Scoot. I appreciate it. I will make sure you guys actually see. If you do that, I'll show you where that goes. Um, you are. I think you asked me yesterday to open that up. I think it was yesterday, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was because I did that. I did that this morning. Now, I'm gonna apologize now, man. And like I said yesterday, you know, it's gonna be a little bit before I put anything up there worth seeing, right? I have heard of that. Marlin 81 J.C. Higgins 12 gauge bolt action. There you go. I actually had, my dad had, and I inherited it. It was one of the Sears and Roebuck's J.C. Higgins bolt action 12 gauge uh, with the internal box magazine. It wasn't detachable. So once we get out going shooting, Scoot, I'll make sure we get some stuff up there. And I appreciate it. I mean, I really do. So, yep. Yeah, they come with the riffraff. They come with the insert so you can shoot the Ruger magazines or Glock magazines. And then they have a threaded barrel too, right? And I think there's even a version that they take down. I've looked at them. I've actually even seen people shooting them for Steel Challenge. I mean, they run, they hit. I haven't personally fired one, but I mean, I don't think Ruger makes bad firearms. You know, I've never had a bad experience with any Ruger firearm. John, I think you were saying yesterday how you had a single action, a 3-pin single action. Trying to remember what model. I'm sorry I can't, but I know you said you had one fail and let a round loose. Was your dad into firearms, or was he um, like most men in that era? They had their basic hunting firearms, and that was about it. My dad he wasn't really into guns that much. He had a couple, rifles. Um, I don't even know if maybe he inherited that himself. He had Black Hawk 1974. Maybe he inherited that gun himself, but he had a pre-64 Winchester 30-30. He had a pre-64 Winchester. Yeah, I got your queer love right here. We will. How about, we'll give you a timeout. I should just block you, but I'm sorry, man. Have a good day. Go do whatever your type does. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Oh, and he had a couple Marlin 22s. I just did a timeout on him. You know, believe it or not, when you tell you what, Dookie, you go ahead and double tap that screen and I'll just block you. The purple gun is a Ruger 2245 Light. It's a Mark IV. I bought that for my daughter for her birthday last year. There's no Derringers, but the little North American Arms. It's a 22 long rifle. Big O, how are you doing? Good to see you. I was on your channel earlier this morning too. Post some content. I don't sell firearms. Can't be a hoarder when you sell. Hey, Big O. That John Flame. If you've never heard of his channel, check him out. He's in the comments. Dude's got a collection that he's got a museum grade collection. That's all right. They're nice. I mean, it's gonna work. I hear you. I appreciate you stopping in regardless. Yeah, they're all fake, man. Every one of them. You got me. I mean, tell me it's not the baddest airsoft collection you've ever seen. I mean, it's so fake. It's not even like, it's all AI. I mean, it's not even here in person, dude. It's just pictures that were all photoshopped and clipped and glued and jerked off on. That's what you get. You're off today. A lot of people really like the Shadow too. No, there's no Combat Master, man. It's a M82, not a M107. Double tap that screen. I appreciate that too. They will. I mean, if it wasn't for AI, I'd be out of business. But anyway, I was talking about John. Yeah, museum grade collection. I've only started to scratch the itch there. I mean, there's so much to look at. You know, Scoot, I appreciate it, man. Double tap that like screen and we can talk about it. You gotta pay. If you guys want to troll, you gotta pay the toll, right? It's called a troll toll. Double tap that screen, throw a like. Yeah, I appreciate you stopping in and all that. The bottom right, it's not a Glock actually. It's a Shadow Systems MR920P. Like the purple gun, that one actually I bought for my daughter. That was her birthday present this year. All right, I can give you a rundown. Did you double tap that screen, Sam? It is a life's work. So, man, it's a small table, but I don't own a Glock 20. Double tap the screen. So, all right, we'll start on the left side of the pistols. We'll meet in the middle of the Glock, and then I'll come back down the right side. So, revolver on the very bottom, the stainless revolver is a North American Arms 22 long rifle, a little 5-shot revolver, single action only. The pistol on the left side of that is a CZ PCR. That's the Czechoslovakian service pistol, chambered in 9mm. The gun directly above that with the red grips, red trigger is a Dan Wesson DWX. The gun directly above that, Big Jerry, I will answer that, just stick around. The gun above that with orange grips is a CZ Tactical Sport Orange 2. The gray and black gun is a CZ Shadow 2. Then we'll hit the Glock, the Camel Glock on top of that. That's a Gen 3 Glock 17. The gun directly above that is a CZ Checkmate. Now we'll come back down the right side with the purple 2245 light, chambered in 22 long rifle, obviously. The gun directly below that is a Volkorstren Black Mamba. That's also 22 long rifle caliber. Then you have the Shadow Systems MR920P. And then on the very bottom, next to the North American Arms revolver, is a Taurus Spectre, something like that. That was actually my mom's carry gun. The rifle on the left side, everybody knows what the Barrett is. I mean, I could tell you, hey, 50 cal, woo, woo. It's a Barrett. Then the rifle on the right-hand side up top is a Springfield Hellion. Yeah, it's actually the purple one. I'm sorry. Well, let me go back to your, why no 10mm? I don't own any 10mm. Man, I just said that. You guys are going to kill me. Double tap that screen and I'll say it all again. You know, I thought about that. I actually, it's funny because you see the M6 lights on the Shadow Systems. That was sitting on my table. I had it next to me and I picked it up and I forgot why I had it in my hand. And so I stuck it on there and put it down. I mean, you want to hang out, I'll run them through. I got no problem with that. I will. Hang out 5 seconds here, right? So, on the left-hand side, sorry, I'm reading. Thank you for following, comment another day. Man, no problem, no worries. I appreciate you coming back and checking out the channel. So let me give you this rundown again, all right? We'll start with the North American Arms 22 long rifle. That's the stainless steel revolver on the bottom, the little miniature thing. On the left side of that is a CZ PCR, chambered in 9mm. We have a Dan Wesson DWX above that. A CZ Tactical Sport Orange 2 above that with orange grips. Directly above that is a CZ Shadow 2. Directly above that's the Camel Glock. That's a Gen 3 Glock 17. Above that is a CZ Checkmate. Coming down the right side, we start at the purple 22. It's a Ruger 2245 Light. I bought that for my daughter. Under that is a Volkorstren Black Mamba. Below that's a Shadow Systems MR920P. Then we have a Taurus Spectre, I think it's Spectre, 380. Yes, that's a Barrett M82 on the left-hand side. And then all the way up on the top right side is a Springfield Hellion. Now make sure you all double tap that like button. But yeah, four-wheel drives, I'll be in your stuff again. I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate being able to check out your content. Thanks for sharing. I mean, Jack, make sure you hit that like for me. So that's what I know. No, I'm not. Wait 5 minutes. Man, you guys should be able to tell them. I mean, just 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 type for me. I don't mind answering it, right? I mean, it it is what it is. I mean, I wish I had something. The Camel Glock. You gotta hit that like, man. I know nobody's hit it because I'm watching the little thumbs up thing. Hit that like and I'll answer your question. You gotta pay the troll toll. There you go. It's a Gen 3 Glock 17. I did the Duracoat work on it. You can't see it, but I milled in front cock serrations. I did the trigger work in it. I did the sights, and it's got a KKM barrel in it. I shot that gun for years. Out of every firearm I own combined, I haven't put as many rounds through it as I did that gun right there. I mean, hands down, everything I own combined, I still haven't put as many rounds as that gun's had through it. That's the fourth barrel in it. Yeah, it's camoed, man. It's the AI. I gotta work on this AI program a little bit. The purple one, I'll double tap the screen, but that purple one actually belongs to my daughter. I bought that for her birthday last year. Spectrum, there you go. My mom bought that for concealed carry, I don't know, maybe 6 months before she died. She kept asking me what to buy. Hi Harley, how's school? Better. She kept asking me what to buy, and I kept telling her get a Glock. And one day she stopped over and she showed me that. I've never shot it. I have a bunch of ammo that she had bought with it, and I don't know. It was hers. Logan, double tap that screen for me. So let me say this, right? If a person were going to have a handgun and they wanted to do everything with it, they wanted to be able to go to the range and hit something, they wanted to be able to use it for concealed carry or self-defense or home protection, they wanted to get in competition shooting, that's kind of a do-it-all. There's very few handguns out there that are going to do it all, right? A Glock 17 is a great multi-purpose weapon. It's not the best target gun you're ever going to see. It's not the best competition gun. It's not the best concealed, but it does everything well. I mean, I'd love to dog shit on them, and I do to a point, but I shot them for years. It's out of a holster, onto target. It's fast. They're fast. There's no manual safety, right? The safety's in the trigger. So to get on a target, they're fast. I mean, reliability, right? I could say that. That's not even worth bringing up. For years, this is an interesting fact, and I haven't stayed up on this, so this is probably about a 15-year-old fact, but at one point, Glock owned about 60% of the handgun market in the world. 60%, one company, one model, or one type of, right? And that was every other company wrapped up. They owned 60%. Yeah, a lot of people like SIGs. I'm not a SIG guy. I do like the compact. So when I bought that PCR, I was buying a Gen 5 Glock 26 for myself. I was gifting my son my my Gen 4. I was playing with that PCR and I bought it. I love the way it feels. It's a nice shooting gun. Weight wise for concealed carry, it's great. The only thing I don't like about it, and this is why I don't carry it, is there's a lot of sharp edges. So, if you're carrying outside the waistband, it would be okay. I prefer to carry inside the waistband, maybe because I'm fat, maybe this or that. There's just a lot of sharp edges. Now I know if I carried it every day, they would they would get smooth. I could go and stone it and then refinish it, but I'm not going to. But that actually started my whole CZ fetish. I enjoy that gun. It's a nice shooting gun. It's a nice carrying gun. So that's what I know. Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, a lot of people. I think a lot of people start with that G2C. Uh, I mean, it's going to do the job, right? It's going to work. No, actually, that was right up until like uh, early 2000s, because I thought it was they were just talking about no, it was like 60% of the firearms market, and that was you got to remember at that point, it really wasn't any polymer striker fired guns out. You know, all these Smith and Wesson 2.0s, the Tauruses, the SIGs, none of that stuff was on the market. So, I mean, between law enforcement and military contracts, and then a large majority of people, that was, I mean, they owned a huge, huge portion of the firearms market. Uh, I mean, they should bring the price down. I agree. I'm not a fan of the 19s. Um, I don't care for the snappiness in the recoil. Uh, I mean, if I want a snappy gun like that, I'll carry a subcompact. I think, and I don't know how the newer ones are, but I was never a fan. I've had a few, and I always end up getting rid of them. And it's kind of a weird thing. So I don't mind having guns, you know, model lines across the board. That was just one I couldn't find a reason to use it. I wasn't going to carry it. It wasn't enjoyable to shoot. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're snappy too. Not a sponsor. You're still here, I hope, because now I got a question for you. Speaking of the LCP, I'm curious what you were shooting in the range. I saw it had comps or ports. It was a port. I think it was, I don't know if it was a two, you know, two on each side or three on each side or one on each side, but I could tell it was definitely ported. I don't know if that was a SIG or if it was something else. Any of them, I mean, the micro guns, they're all snappy. Uh, yeah, a good friend of mine had one too. Um, so there's guns, like I was saying, there's guns that are fun to go shoot with, and most people that get into firearms, that's, I mean, you want to shoot them, right? People that buy like the Taurus, I think a lot of times, they'll be disappointed because they want to actually hit stuff, and I'm not talking, you know, 7 yards or 10 yards, but they just, it's a small gun to try to be accurate with. With my Glock 26, I don't have an unreasonable expectation. Ammo Alchemist, how are you doing? Hang out today, man. Don't be this in and out shit. But oh, what was I just saying? 365. Yo, I was just not a sponsor. I was asking you about that little mouse gun you were shooting at the range. What was that? And it was a ported barrel, right? It looked like probably two ports on each side. YCD Guns, how are you doing? Battlehawk. I know, man. I'm just giving you shit. You're a working guy. The Shield Plus Performance Center porter. Was it? Is it one or it's got to be at least two ports on each side, right? That what I saw. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like two ports on each side, you know, coming up at that V. Yeah, I was saying, It does, you know. I carry Glock 26. I got a Pierce grip extension on it. It works good for me. It doesn't really print. Um, like I said, Glock 19s. If I'm gonna carry a 19, I'll carry a full size 17, right? That was the sub 2000, correct? Yeah, port at 1030 and 2. Yep, that's what I saw then. Oh, whooping cough. That sucks. You're gonna be up. Good thing is they give them good medicine, so they sleep a lot. Did you see on my other channel I changed the channel name, or the, I don't know what they call it, the handle? Also, I'm a big fella, so I can get. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people like the 19s. I mean, we all have our own preference, right? We could sit here and we all have our own thing we like to carry. We all have our own things we like to shoot. And that's why there's so many, you know? Does it? I suppose I could see that. I mean, got a good angle of it. It's kind of cool. I know I'm Alchemist there. He loves to catch the muzzle flashes, you know? Absolutely. I appreciate that. That was one I did back when I had my shop. That's my carry gun. Or my carry gun. I'm sorry, I apologize. It is my old competition gun. I shot that gun for years. It's retired. I shoot it on occasion. Corey, double tap that screen for me, and I'll gladly answer that question. Gotta pay the troll toll. There's an admission for me answering questions. There you go. I do have a dagger. I bought it for my middle son a couple years ago for his birthday. I don't really have anything good to say about it. It is a Hellion. I don't really have anything good to say about it, and I have even less to say positive about the company. And it's just because of the response they dealt with. It's got issues with the chamber. It's got to be out of spec. It bulges brass. Come on, Fubar. I have 3 kids. I wanted to like it. I mean, the price point it came in at was there, but it bulges brass. Now I could get a new barrel, right? I could replace the barrel, but I bought, you know, a $300 gun. Why would I want to spend another $125? Oh, dude, like almost to the point. It's not safe to shoot. It absolutely is not safe to shoot. But I contacted the company through emails, through multiple voicemails, and they absolutely blew me off. My wife emailed them. My son, who got the gun, emailed them too. And I mean, I easily 12 emails, phone calls, and they never even acknowledged it. Never even like gave you a receipt. Hey, we got the email. And I know they got them, right? But they just completely blew it off. So my opinion, there's other options out there that a person could buy, especially like that Ruger RXM. That would be a good option, you know? I mean, I don't think you're gonna go wrong with a Glock. There you go. And that's what a lot of people say. They have good ones. I've heard of other people having bad ones. But the thing is when you're dealing with a company, I can accept that, hey, there's things get through, right? They don't quality inspect every single part. They do batch inspections, like first and 10 piece on a part or on a run. So it may get through. But what I would expect any company to do is customer contacts us, says there's an issue. Let's get that thing back in the door. Number one, let's make this customer happy. Let's verify there's actually an issue, and let's repair it. Right? That's it. Simple. No, nothing unreasonable. I don't own a 10 millimeter. I have shot them. I bought my son, my oldest one, a couple years ago for his birthday. I bought him one. Um, I don't know. I for hunting with or something, I think it would serve a purpose. Um, Herb the White Guy, love the name. Double tap the screen and I'll gladly answer your question. I haven't checked that out. Um, I was talking to somebody who was reviewing one. I can't even remember who, but I mean it's a Glock clone. Kind of hard to mess it up. Um, so I've never even actually held an Echelon. I did want one when it was first released. I checked around. I talked to the LGS I deal with, and it wasn't even something they planned on carrying or stocking because what they were marked for MSRP is what they were selling them for. So there was no money for them to be made. And they are. I mean, but it's the quality control, you know. Um, and like I said, I'm okay if something you gamble, you know. This isn't expensive. It could be a great buy or it could be a horrible buy, and I'm okay checking it out. But if it's bad and there's like something actually physically wrong with it, it should just be taken care of. I don't care if it's $100 gun or $1,000 gun. If it's not right, it's not right. You know, it isn't. We took your money. Now hit the bricks. That's not the way to make good business. You know. I mean, in every live I've had, I've talked about it, and I mean, everybody when I talk to them in person about daggers, I say the same thing. So them not taking care of, just even acknowledging a customer, I sure haven't done the company any favors. I mean, they could easily say, yeah, I had an issue. They took care of it. I recommend it, but they dropped the ball. Jack, double tap that screen for me. As soon as I see that, I'll answer your question. So I'm not a lawyer. I can't really honestly answer if they're legal. I know the ATF is saying they're not legal. I know that they fought with the forced reset triggers and lost. I know that the ATF sent out, what do they want to call it, notifications or heads ups to law enforcement saying if you find any of these safety or these devices, this is what it looks like. And they were showing pictures of the super safety, and then they were showing pictures of the, I guess, super safety or whatever for AKs, that these are being considered illegal machine guns and they should be arrested and prosecuted. So I don't know, man. I'd have no way of knowing. You know, I know. I mean, the brace thing, it's through court now. They lost. I mean, let's be honest. I ain't even gonna say let's be honest because we all know, right? I mean, I think there's people out there when they were originally designed that probably really helped, even probably still. You know, I think it's a great way for not only civilians but um, firearm manufacturers to say your SBR, SBS rules are retarded. And I mean, it'd be cool to do something about that. You know, John Wick, double tap that screen for me, man. Welcome to the conversation. The one broke dude. I appreciate that too. If you guys have channels and you go into my short, let me know you're in the live. I will check out your channel. I'll probably subscribe. I'm not gonna say 99%, but I subscribe to everybody's stuff. And I'll check your channel out. I mean, you're gonna see me in your comments. You know, I'm not a guy who just pops in and doesn't even really watch it. I watch your videos. I mean, when I'm bored, I start at my subscriber list and I scroll through. And people that got new content, I watch. If they don't have new content, more times than not, I'll tell them to post something, or I'll leave a comment on something I already live, just for no other reason to show support back. I mean, I don't think any of us can hit anything with just a buffer tube. Yeah. You know, I know in lives and shit, a lot of people say they do that, right? I'm I'm just here because I'm bored, right? Trying to connect with people that maybe have similar likes and hobbies and interests, you know. I like to have conversations, and I really like to try to motivate you guys to try competition shooting. Go shoot pistol matches. If you like guns, if you like hanging out with people that like guns, I mean, get out there and shoot. I will. Make sure you double tap that screen for me. You got to pay the troll toll. Um, Not really much to say about it. It's a little 5-shot 22 long rifle revolver. It's a great option for somebody who needs like a deep cover, or maybe the possibility of getting jumped. I mean, that might be all you have. It's going to work in a pocket. They have a lot of different options for carrying them. They have belt buckles, they have wallets, they have, and I had it on here at one point. It makes it look like it's a pocket knife. It clips on your pocket. About 7 yards, you're still hitting a good, you know, you're hitting a target, but it's not something a long ways away. I mean, it's one of the coolest things I ever did with it is I had some 22 long rifle tracers, and just for shits and grins, we shot at 200 yards. And I'll tell you what, by about 30 yards, you could literally see this bullet going down range. And of course, doing the big spiral, it was probably a 4 or 5 foot spiral. I mean, just zipping down range. It was impressive, but it kind of feels like you're shooting a magnum of some sort, because it's really hard to hold on to and it wants to jump out your hand. I was going to ask you that too, John. What type of shooting do you do? I mean, obviously you got a lot of stuff to shoot, but clearly I know you talked about the turkey shoot. I saw that in your video. What other kind of shooting did you do? I mean, cowboy action. I could picture you, and tell me if I'm wrong, probably a silhouette shooter. I almost guarantee it. That's the right age group. Probably silhouette and bowling pins. But I've had several of the North American arms over the years. Um, I've shot the Black Widow versions, which is a 22 Magnum. That's kind of a cool gun, and they have some really different ones out now. But that particular one I've had, oh, let me think, since maybe like 2010. You know, on most of my pistols, with the exception of my race gun, I shoot iron sights. It's just what I can shoot. I mean, obviously with a dot, you can shoot more accurately. A lot of newer shooters, it creates, it's a what do I want to call? It's a force enhancer, right? It takes somebody with a lower skill set, and it kind of elevates them because it's a lot easier to shoot a dot. Inside of about 10 yards, there's no advantage to a dot or iron sights. But most of my stuff, actually my guns that I use, with the exception, like I said, my race guns, my pistols, they're all iron sights. I'm starting to kind of maybe transition a little. Last gun I bought, my DWX here, that's optics ready. That'll be getting a dot at some point. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. So I think if people are going to carry a personal defense firearm, to have a personal defense, a concealed carry firearm with a red dot, I don't think that's the right application. Nobody wants to hang out while you turn your dot on, and a lot of people say my dot's shake to wake. Well, every time you stand up, every time you sit down, every time you walk, that dot turns on. The dot on my daughter's 22 pistol, there's a shake to wake, and I'll tell you this, there's a lot of times we pick it up and the battery's dead. All right, man. Is it the actual Derringer, or is it a like a Bond Arms? At little North American Arms, I like taking it with people that don't necessarily have a lot of exposure to firearms, because it's kind of a hoot. Okay, I can see it. Got a squint. All right. I have one. I actually keep it. I keep it in my garage. It's a the 410 45 long Colt. That's Cobra. How long have you had it? Stuff like that's got a purpose and a place for sure. For years. I assume you're talking to Scoot for that, so I'll let him answer you, Sam. Have you guys seen the 45? I know you've seen the 4570 ones. Question is it, would you shoot it? I don't think I would. I'm pretty sure I'd pass on that. My days of hurting myself just to hurt myself are kind of gone, but 9 feet. There you go. The Cyclops. The best aftermarket Glock mags. Man, there's only one out there that you can trust. Who's the company that makes them? Oh yeah, it's Glock, man. There's no aftermarket Glock mags that work like a Glock mag. You know, that's part of the reason a Glock is actually as reliable as it is the magazines. That's why everybody runs Glock mags, right? They work. They're great mags. I mean, even if you don't like Glock firearms, I'm not going to lie to you and say yes, because the ones I've seen, the ones I've experienced, they do not run 100%. Even like the big stick mags, the big aftermarket stick mags, they don't run for shit. Some do, some don't. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. The Glock 31 or 33 round mags, they work. They work every time. So I would recommend, if you're asking my opinion, I would recommend just sticking with the actual Glock mag. Okay. But yeah, that's why so many manufacturers now, they all use Glock mags. I mean, hate to admit it, but they work. Yeah, I have some KCI mags too, and some work, some don't. Um, some of them for like our PCCs, I had to actually remove material to make them even enter into a mag well. Um, I've never had that with any Glock magazines. They do because they work. I mean, if it's not broke, you can't fix it, you know? And I'm not taking anything away from any other manufacturer out there. I'm not saying their mags don't work, but they don't work as well as Glock mags. Glock probably has the best magazine on the market, and for whatever that's worth. Okay. Huh. Did you ever? I know I asked you, and I don't think I saw a response. But did you ever answer? You don't have to even say the state. I'm just curious what part of the country you're in. I'm thinking south, but I don't. If you did respond, I didn't see it, or if I did see it, I guess I didn't even realize I forgot, or I don't know. I know we were chatting back and forth for a while last night, and I went to sleep. So I'm not saying I wasn't responding back when I was falling asleep, because I know when I woke up this morning, my phone was on my pillow next to me and not on my headboard. I'm in Wisconsin. Um, Wills versus trusts. So the big thing with a trust, if you have possessions, you have a firearms trust. You can add more than firearms to that trust, right? Uh, you get in a divorce, a judge can't remove that property from a trust. It's technically not your property. Once you form a trust, it's private entity. Uh, you get in an automobile accident, and they sue you for everything you got, right? Everything you got. Yeah, fucking life in the city, man. I'm only a couple blocks from the police department too. So what time is it? Yeah, they actually may be running somewhere like 5 blocks from the police department. Um, but trusts, you don't technically own it. You would be uh, the chair or whatever, but you don't technically own that property. So if something happens, they can't remove your property. They can remove you from a trust and say like it's got to go to somebody else's stuff. But um, so a trust leaves property, or a will leaves property to somebody once you pass away. A trust, you already named your trustees or co-chair, and there's no leaving the property because they're already part owner of it, or part of that organization. I seen ya. I was just finishing talking. K20 ACZ RPG. Sure, I would love to have one. Do I own one? No, I don't own one. So two, I'm sure you figured out there's a little bit of delay when I'm seeing your message till I'm responding. So I'm not ignoring anybody, but bear with me. I have the ability of sitting behind my phone and reading this as how I'm recording it, which would be more instantaneous, or I can sit 3 feet over in my chair and be comfortable and read it off my TV. So I'm lazy, dude. I want to sit. I worked all week. I want to sit with my feet up and relax, right? Firearms trusts work good too, um, for purchasing class 3 items. Uh, I don't know what state you're in or wherever. Um, I have a few. Um, but like, you have to have your chief law enforcement officer sign off on them. That was changed several years ago to they had to sign off on it to they have to be notified. So the county I live in, our chief law enforcement officer wouldn't sign off on anything. Um, so the only way for us to have been able to get stuff that way was to do a firearms trust, and that sidestepped it. Then you had to notify, not get permission. So, but they did away with that. I think that was a federal thing, with the ATF paperwork where it says now you must notify, but you don't need their approval. They can deny it, right? They could contact the ATF and say, hey, this is no good. But, it takes them actually having the ability to do that easily. Before it wasn't, they could deny it, but they had to approve it, So if you're thinking about suppressors or class 3 items, um, it's probably worth doing a trust. The bullpup is a 5.56 or 223. It's a Springfield Hellion. That's the Croatian service rifle. It's also the service rifle the Iraqi army adopted. Springfield started importing them a few years ago. It's cool because it's ambidextrous. You can convert or switch ejection to either left side or right side, and it only takes a couple minutes to do it. No parts. It doesn't cost anything to convert it, but it just takes a couple minutes to switch it from left hand eject to right hand eject. So, but another thing with firearms trusts is, number one, you can change your trustees or co-trust, joint trust or whatever. You can add and subtract people at will, as well as remove yourself. So if something happens, and you now become a prohibited person, you can be removed. They can't take your stuff because you don't own it, but you can have your kids. I think they got to be 18 years or older to be an actual, I don't know what they call it, co-trustee. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. I do have it somewhere. I'm not gonna sit here and try to quote the whole legalities of it. But trusts are a good idea, even if, add firearms. If you have NFA items, you can add them to your trust, and you can remove them too. It's not like there's a whole bunch of extra paperwork or whatever to remove or add items. But it's a good protection. So, but I was pretty lenient on firearm laws too, aren't they? I don't think I ever heard of them having anything weird or on obtaining them. Pretty sure it's like everywhere else. You just have to do NFA paperwork. But yeah, other than that, what do you think? What do you know? I didn't know that either. And I know they have their red flag laws, And it doesn't even have to be like your neighbor. Law enforcement can say it. Like, you know, I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point in my life, somebody I know would have, if they thought they could get my gun rights taken away, would have called and gave an anonymous tip, and boom, my rights were gone. I mean, I like to think nobody would do that, but I'm pretty sure they would have. I know that's the thing, but that's where a firearms trust would protect you. Is they say, okay, you take my rights to own a firearm away, but I technically don't own them, right? Um, and they would, I mean, you wouldn't be able to have them in your possession, but yeah, I, if you were sitting at your house right now, me, right, and law enforcement showed up and said, we're taking all your guns, I don't, I don't know how that would go. I mean, and not even committing a crime or being found guilty of a crime just because somebody didn't like me. Maybe they didn't like something I said, or my neighbor's a whatever. That's so messed up, man. So messed up. You gotta have due process. You know. I know. I'm trying to think where it was. I think it was. They've done it in New York. I think Rhode Island or something. There was a vet a few years ago where somebody did an anonymous red flag call on him, and this guy ended up dying over it. He flat out refused to give up his rights, and they killed him over it. I mean, I would love to give you the details, but I don't exactly remember them. Um, I know there's been a lot of examples like that. You know, well, firearm stuff. Yeah, I'd agree. I think though, maybe California is lot more out there with some of their environmental stuff than New York or the rest of the country. I mean, and I know not everybody in California thinks that way, but certain areas, man. I mean, I don't know what goes through people's heads, you know. And it shouldn't be like that. I mean, where are you, YCD Guns? I don't think you ever said. If you did, I'm sorry. I don't exactly remember. I try to remember where everybody's from or all the conversations, but it some of it blurs together. North Carolina. There you go. That's pretty free state. I don't know if better than them too. Um, like Illinois. I mean, Illinois is out there too. Uh, Colorado is pretty out there. I mean, maybe not as bad as California, but they're getting there. Um, I think it's messed up when any politician is willing to just completely tear up the Constitution. I mean, their first act in office is to swear oath to the Constitution. Very first thing they do when they become elected, their very first act in office is to swear oath to it. How can you swear oath to it and swear to uphold it and protect it and preserve it, and then day two, you're tearing it up? I see your message, Michael. Not sure why you erased it, but you know, I think that says a lot. There you go. You repost it. Ain't bad. We can have machine gun suppressors, explosives. Yeah, my state too. Anything you want, you just have to do your paperwork. There's no state restrictions on NFA items. You just have to follow federal um, rules and do your paperwork. That's the way it should be. I don't even. I mean, none of us like the paperwork end of it, But I guess if that's the price of admission, the concealed weapons permits, that's just taxation, you know, just a way for government to make a little money and stand on somebody's throat. Suppressors, short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, you should be able to do just a standard 4473. I don't agree or disagree with the tax stamp. It'd be nice if you didn't have to. I don't agree or disagree that you have to have your fingerprints or photo. But I should be able to go in, have my stuff done right there, have them call it in on my 4473, and get approved. You want to tax me $200? Fine, I'll pay it at the store. They can send it in. But the whole process they do is ridiculous, and it shouldn't be that way. So in my state, you can open carry. Joanna, how are you doing? There's no restrictions on that. But I mean, general practice, it's better to have it concealed. One, if something happens, people don't know you're armed. I mean, having the ability to defend yourself or others, kind of is nice to not have yourself already targeted before you even know there's a situation. And a lot of other places too. There's people that get jacked with their guns. I mean, we've all seen people at a gas station and dude comes up and takes their gun on them, you know. It should be. And, you know, the general idea is we have to have exhaust on our cars. When I have straight bikes on my pipes, I get pulled over because they're too loud, you know. Noise pollution's a thing. Why not? I mean, a lot of places overseas, they require it. It's not even an option. I mean, don't get me wrong. If we all had suppressors, we'd all be outlaws and be taking them off to be loud like I do with my bikes, right? But it is a good idea. I mean, as long as they're not made with platinum, so people be jacking your guns just to cut the platinum out of the suppressor, I think we'd be okay. What do you have to do to get your carry permit there? They should, you know. It would be really interesting to see how the firearms industry would evolve. I mean, you wouldn't see suppressors anymore as a standalone item. It'd all be internally suppressed. It would be just part of the firearm. I mean, we'd start taking it for granted, you know. So like for our concealed carry permits in my state, when it was enacted, hey Harley, I'll give you guys an idea. I'll have my daughter go grab my wallet and I'll tell you my concealed carry number. When it was enacted in my state, they accepted your DD 214. It's a hellion. Double tap that like screen. Go grab my wallet for me. Yeah, it's door's locked too. But they accepted a DD 214. And they also accepted hunter's education as a requirement to be able to get your concealed carry permit. Now they require a class. If you have a DD 214, they still accept that. The price for me was $40 when it first came out. I don't recall what it is now. It's less. They lowered it. Our permits are good for 5 years, and there's no photograph or anything. It's just a card. But when we got concealed carry in our state, I went. So it was legal on like a Tuesday, and they had on the news that you were not to go to the Attorney General's office and deliver paperwork. They weren't going to accept it. Wisconsin, man. And so I planned on sending it in, and that Tuesday I stopped at a shop to get some parts for my bike, and a couple guys were gone. I asked where they were, and they were coming back from the capital, the state capital, to deliver their paperwork. I'm like, come on. They said they weren't going to do that. They're like, no, man. Chanson, how are you doing? And they said, yeah, they accepted it. So the next day, on that Wednesday, I took a vacation day at work. My son, my oldest son, and I, and one of my friends, we went down to the state capitol, and I hand delivered my paperwork to the Attorney General, which was kind of cool. Had a whole day down there. We wandered around the state capitol building. We ended up finding roof access, so we were out on the roof and shit. But for instance, my number is 4,600 and a couple. So I was less than the first 5,000 people to get a carry permit in my state. You want to turn that thing on? You work tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a button on this side of the computer.
Yeah, everything's good here. Just like you, man, working on these hours, working on trying to build the community. Michael, hello, how are you doing? Make sure you guys double tap that like screen. I'd appreciate it. Y'all know that helps, right? But I know I wish that our state had more I can't even say the word, accepted more other state permits, or that our state was more widely accepted, something like a Florida or an Arizona permit is. I ate already. I mean later. I left at 1:30.
If H gets done at Arby's at 6:30, bring you something on.
I wouldn't trade in an AR for it, but I wouldn't say it's not worth it either. It's not an AR-15. To the people it's really going to appeal to are left-handed people. For most lefties, shooting a bullpup rifle, it really isn't in the cards. There's some out there now that you convert and stuff. It's an interesting firearm. The only thing I could say negative is the trigger in them sucks. How you doing, man? I recognize you from yesterday. The trigger in them sucks. I was actually looking this morning online, and Jared, they make triggers for it. Double tap that like screen for me, and I'll tell you. But Jared makes a trigger, and then like Black Talon Tactical is working on coming out with parts. I like it. Only thing I don't like about it's the trigger. It's compact. It's balanced well. It's accurate. It's got a 1 in 7 twist. It's not necessarily the best for 55 grain bullets, but 60 grain, 62 grain, 68 grain, 69 grain, up to 70 grain, it stabilizes them. They shoot great. I've had zero malfunctions with it. There was zero break-in time with it. It runs clean. It's a piston-driven gun. It runs extremely clean. It cycles smooth. I mean, that's best I can say for it. They got incredible iron sights. You know, nobody's going to complain about the iron sights that come on them. It absolutely is. So that's one that they first initially came out with. I haven't run a suppressor on it yet. The newer versions have a little bit different style safety. A lot of people really dogged on that safety. The only thing I would say positive or negative is negative. It sits a little high. Hey Woo, how are you doing, man? It's an Aimpoint Patrol comp M4, and it's just got a magnifier behind it. Whatever hand you're shooting with. So for me, left-handed, the left-handed safety will dig into your hand a little bit. Now there's parts out there to get rid of the right hand safety, but that left hand, the safety lever on the left side of the firearm is still there. It's all right, man. Don't even sweat it. I mean, I appreciate you stopping in and saying what's up anyway, right? I mean, I appreciate any of you guys that stop in. If I haven't said it, double tap that screen. If you have content on your channel, go to my shorts, leave me a comment telling me you were from the live, and I'll be on your channel. I'll check your stuff out. We'll conversate. Jansen, I appreciate it, man. I mean, I've had a few people do that now, and the same thing I tell them is, anything I make off this, it goes right to my kids. And I'm not buying them shoes and shit, right? That pays for match fees. It pays for, you know, the match fees. It pays for ammo, all that stuff. Obviously, you know, it's just a cool thing. There you go. And you ran the load you were talking, the 26, was it 26.4 grains? I hope I didn't scare you off. I wasn't able to find the data that you were referencing.
I have a computer. I'll get it on for you before I head out.
Which one is it?
The
One that's open?
no, I think it's the one that's closed.
I don't know what a charger is.
This one. Yeah, I know that's not the charger for it, so it's on the floor, I think.
Nice.
Yep, that'd be the charger.
I don't own a Springfield Hellion. Sorry, the Springfield Hellpup. Or Hellcat. And I've never fired one. I've only looked at them in passing when somebody's like, hey, check this out. So I'm not going to lie to you and say I have anything positive or negative to say about it. I just don't have any experience with it. Okay, 24 and a half H110. I don't know why you would have gotten kicked out. But if you did, I apologize. If it happens again, let me know and I'll figure something out. All right, man. I'll talk to you later, not a sponsor. Thanks for hanging out. And I'll definitely chat with you some more later. Yeah, like you saw a few people already responded. They like them. I mean, I guess from my end of it, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about it. I've never heard it's not reliable, or that it's not a good shooter. I don't know how much shooting people do with them. I mean, it's a carry gun, not really a big range toy. Oh man, I hit that beaver every chance I can. I mean, it's either me or the dog that beats me to it. One of us is tapping that shit every day. that up for me and just sit down. And you hear everybody's home. So their wife's getting ready to leave. My middle son's getting ready to go to work. And I assume my daughter's staying here. I'm gonna go with mom. Matthew, I appreciate it. I mean, I really like to show getting my kids out and shooting pistol matches. That's what I like to share. Stuff like this, the little table, is actually a really great way to get to know you guys. It's something to talk about. I kind of gave up on doing shorts, just like a lot of other people. YouTube overlords are not real gun friendly. They don't. I mean, they don't want to push that content anymore. So to do the lives, will at least connect with as many people as I can, and maybe we can. I'm gonna check your stuff out. Hopefully, you check mine out. Well, and double tap that like screen for me, and I'll gladly answer your question. Yeah, man. You know, likewise. That's why I keep coming back to the lives. Not all of them, actually. I have a Walther P22. I do like that gun. Me, left-handed shooter. That was really one of the first. Hey, do me a favor before you go. Will you put the dogs upstairs? I can see me getting a strike over that. They are. But when the Walther P22 first started getting imported from Germany, which is where it was being made, it was the first ambidextrous 22 that kind of came into the U.S. market, and I bought one. Mine was still made in Germany by Carl Walther, and it was imported through Smith & Wesson, and now they're all made in the United States by Smith & Wesson, but they use the Walther name. I do not have a 30-30. Up until a few months ago, I had a Winchester 32 Special, but I traded that. But Chanson, absolutely. You can leave Leroy down here. He's fine.
Okay.
It's the other two Yohos. So the A1, I have a 1911, started life as a Series 80, and I converted it back to a Series 70 and did a bunch of work on it. And then I have a commander length gun that would be a Series 70 platform, but I don't have an A1. What caliber elephant gun? You know, honestly, John, at this point in time, 1,000 views on a short's doing pretty good. I can do a stupid short. I green screened a Homer Simpson clip where he was buying a gun, and that thing got like 16,000 views. I put up a couple videos right before that were actually, I thought, were really cool. Two with my, one with my daughter, one with my son, and one with myself, and they didn't go really anywhere, man. So, you know, I know you were talking, John, about some of the sound clips or sound trends that people use, and they are gay. I mean, they're gayer than gay, but it pushes your content. Like, everybody that watches a video with that sound clip, if you ever notice, you know, within a few videos, there's another video like that with a sound clip. That's why people use them. It does help push your channel in a feed, but firearm content is weird. Depending on what type it is, if you post it really late at night, if it's just out there having fun, blasting rounds, it seems like later in the evening gets more response. During the middle of the day and stuff, it never makes the algorithm. I can imagine. I mean, definitely make a mess. It does. I mean, Well, I think we probably all feel out. Chance, and you're still here. I think we all feel like a sellout when we use a sound clip or audio. I mean, but it does help. I mean, nobody wants to post stuff that means something to them, and then it's like it doesn't exist. It's but it is. It's all a guessing game. It's all gambling. Kadar, hopefully I'm saying that right. Double tap that screen for me, and I'll gladly give you my response. Right on. So Glock 19X, for when you say domestic safety, I assume for home protection, or you probably mean for like personal protection. It's a good gun. I'm not a big fan of Glock 19, but a lot of people really like it and they shoot them really well. I don't think for a lot of newer shooters it's a bad choice. Yes, Leroy, we're not gonna play. All right, we'll play for a second. My oldest gun is, I'd have to look, I think it's 1903. It's a H&R Target Model 22. So my go-to handgun for personal carry, personal self-defense, concealed carry, I carry a Glock 26, a Gen 5 Glock 26. I have pretty much, I don't want to say exclusively, but that's a Glock 26 has been my carry gun now since 2000. Actually, I think it was even just a little bit before that I got my Gen 3. But I've carried a Gen 3, I carried a Gen 4, and I carry a Gen 5. Yes, it's a 9mm. Glock 26 is a subcompact platform. It's the slide and barrel length on it is equivalent to what a 43X is. A lot of people do like the 43 over the 26. I actually have two Glock 43Xs, two of them. And I'm not a fan. I thought I would be. I thought it would be a great gun. I don't like it. I don't like the way it feels when you shoot it, the recoil. I don't like the way the grip feels. They obviously, to slim the gun down, they thinned out the material in the grip, and you can feel it flex. I mean, you can feel the gun flex when you're shooting it. Maybe some can, maybe some can't. I can feel it flex. I do have a Desert Eagle. Yeah, a lot of people like them, the Ruger LCPs. There's actually, oh man, I'd be lying to say, somebody was talking about it just a little while ago. The little mouse guns, I think they're great. I mean, all them guns are great. The 43X, the LCPs, all that stuff is great for like a deep concealment carry gun. But where a lot of people make a mistake is now they go to the gun range with their buddies or by themselves and they want to actually practice with the gun and they find out how inaccurate they are. It's a great gun if you're up close and fighting, but you're gonna have a hard time. It's not gonna be something you're gonna have a lot of fun shooting because you're not gonna hit shit with it. See, and this is why I lock you out, Leroy. Y'all see that, right? He's gonna get me in trouble. Yeah. Double tap that like screen for me, Zalan, and I'll tell you what it's called. Calling that the troll toll. It's the, so the Croatian term is a VHS. The import name is Springfield Hellion. Croatian Army uses it, and the Iraqi Army adopted it as a service rifle. It's not a bad rifle. The trigger sucks, but it's a nice shooting rifle. I'm glad that, you know, these companies now are starting to catch up. They're starting to catch up with some aftermarket support to it, and I knew they would. I mean, but there's Jared makes triggers components for it now, and then Black Talon Tactical has some stuff they're coming out with. And if that gun gets a good trigger, it's never going to be like a 2-pound trigger, right? It's not possible with a bull pump. But if it gets it down to a 3.5-pound trigger pull, and you know, little to no pre-travel and a good reset, low over travel, I mean, the gun is going to be banging. I don't think they were trying to be the successor to the AUG. It more closely is closer to the function of a G36 or of a FAMAS. Them were the two kind of design elements that they borrowed from to create that rifle. But it more closely mirrors them than an AUG. What's the biggest gun? What do you mean, the biggest gun I own or the biggest gun on the table? Well, huff and puff over there. Bring here, little one. Get the bone. Get the bone. Yeah, look at me, Stu. Fuck you then. Lay there and look depressed. It's piston driven. That is a Taurus Spectre. I inherited that from my mom. I like to kind of show a variety of firearms. I mean, I don't have just expensive stuff. I don't have just cheap stuff. I like all stuff, man. I enjoy shooting. If it's a good shooting firearm and it runs, I enjoy shooting them. I don't, you know, the biggest cannon, the biggest gun I own is actually on this table. I mean, how can you miss it? It's a Barrett 50 BMG. I mean, everybody played video games, and that's in every video game, right? I'm not sure what a SSG and pack means. You have to, I don't know what you're talking about. Favorite ZZ made so far? I don't have one, but I like the CZ Parrot. I have the Checkmates, which is the exact same gun, except the Checkmate's all black. The Parrot looks like a gay pride flag. The grip panels on it, they're different colors. It's got a green magwell on it. It's got a red trigger. The optic mount's purple. I think the charging handle is blue. And they call it a Parrot because it looks like a parrot. But it's actually a pretty rare item. For the longest time, CZ would only import 10 of them a year. And out of the 10 that they were bringing in, 5 of them were held for prize tables. The last couple of years, they were bringing in 50. And I tried getting one a bunch of times, and I couldn't get a hold of it. D-Dog Tactical, I mean, I haven't seen him yet today, but he has a Parrot. I mean, they're cool. I would shoot it. A lot of the parts on there that I mentioned, I would change, but it's just a cool looking gun. It's just cool. Yeah. So that purple Ruger, I bought for my daughter last year for her birthday. Um, she picked out the color. I ordered the Lipsy special. Came with the red dot. Um, I should have probably got the regular model. Uh, them have a rail, so you could put a red dot on it, but then they have iron sights. That one doesn't have any iron sights; it's red dot only. Um, I personally, it's a nice shooting gun. Um, I wish she'd shoot it more. Having just the red dot, she struggles with a little bit. Yeah, I have a bunch of ARs, man. Um, I'd have to sit here and think, but I don't know, probably 12, 13 of them. Um, I have Bushmasters, I got Colts, I got Daniel Defense, I got a bunch of stuff I manufactured or PMF. Um, got, you know, a 10-inch barrel, I got a 7.5-inch barrel, I got a bunch of 16-inch barrels, I got 18-inch, 20-inch, got A3 setup, you know, so the standard M16 setup. I got a clone Vietnam era dissipator. Yeah, I have a bunch of ARs. I mean, years ago. God damn it! Weird. Usually it's not this active. I mean, god damn. Um, Years ago, like just before the assault weapons ban ended, and even a little while after, ARs weren't very common. You'd see a lot of SKSs and AKs and stuff, but it was kind of rare to see an AR. Uh, they were a lot more expensive then. Yeah, they can come all they want. Um, but now, I mean, because the price of AR-15s has dropped to a very entry-level price, a budget-friendly price, you see a lot of them, and it's good and bad. But I mean, I enjoy shooting the ones we have. I I don't really show them. I mean, it's an AR-15. Some are more custom than others. Some have had more work than others. I have my stuff that we use for 3-gun. I have my stuff I use for precision. But they're ARs. Everybody has an AR. The SU-16, that's the one that folded, right? Lipstein, I think you've seen most of it. I think really the only thing you maybe haven't seen is the Springfield Hellion. You have one of them, John. You have one of them SU-16s, don't you? Didn't I see that in your collection? I think it was sitting on one of your shelves. I don't even think it was something you're talking about. I think it was just something you had in the background. I'm pretty sure I saw one. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I know I've seen other Kel-Tecs in your collection. How does that feel when you shoot it? Uh, yeah, Kel-Tec they're interesting. I appreciate what they're doing. Um, hmm. Yeah, it's a 22 long rifle. So the Fallujah setup. So there were Marines that went into Fallujah. Vast majority of them had full-size rifles. They had a 20-inch rifle with ACOGs, right? Uh, the SIG's definitely, I mean, a bigger cartridge is better, especially when you're shooting at an adversary behind something solid. Uh, so, I mean, bigger is better. guy was asking or mentioned that he owned an SU-16, the Keltec. That's the fold-in Keltec. I'm pretty sure you had one. I did. I'm not sure what kind of drink you're talking about there. I do too, man. I gotta go. I usually go every couple weeks, and I've been lazy. I don't know how y'all feel either. I get shaved. You know, I keep my mustache and goatee, but I let them do the sides when they cut my hair. So if it's been a few weeks since I got a haircut, it starts to show. That's one of my. I just absolutely hate shaving. I mean, I got no problem trimming my nuts, right? I hate shaving. I've always hated shaving. So. So I would love to give you more of an honest opinion about it, but I haven't fired one. I haven't actually seen the cartridge in person. I have, you know, we've all seen it on YouTube. We've all read magazine articles. So I really can't say I have no honest opinion because I have no experience with it. I think on paper, I mean, it's impressive and it has a leg up. So I get finger length on top and 1.5 on the sides. And then I do a high fade. A lot of people have tried replacing Glock and knocking them out of the market. And the truth of it is Glock is replacing themselves. They are refusing to change with times. Let's face it, any of these compact Glocks now, even full-size Glocks, people want comps on them. And they want better texturing on the frame and, you know, all this stuff. Glock's not doing that. They're not giving their customer what they want. So they're, Kyle, they're not giving the customers what they want, and that's why these customers are going to Canucks, Rival, Springfields, and all these other options that are out there because they are giving them what they want. I don't own a Canuck Rival. I don't own a Springfield Echelon. I do own a Glock 34. SIG is kind of, they're shooting themselves in the foot too. And, you know, they're burning bridges on the way. Eventually Glock is going to come around and, I mean, in order to stay relevant, they're going to have to accept the fact, and they do it slowly, but they're going to have to accept the fact of what the customers want. The answer for a manufacturer shouldn't be, let's keep doing what we're doing and we'll let the aftermarket support take over. That works for a little bit, but ultimately you're giving up a big portion or a big area of the market. You know, aftermarket takes over. Well, that aftermarket can start manufacturing their own stuff, and they're cutting you out. Let's give the customer what they want. You know, the shadow systems that's on the table. When I talk about a comp and texture and all that, I bought that for my daughter this year for competition. She shoots my Glock 44, which is a Glock 19 size. I would take a Glock over a 320. But she shot the Glock 44, Glock 19 size, and she likes that caliber. She likes the frame of the gun. And she's a kid. She's 11 years old. So I wanted to buy her something that she's familiar with. Glock 19 size frame. She's 11 years old, so I don't want to give her a bunch of muzzle flip, where is why I didn't buy a Glock 19, right? They're snappy. So I wanted something in a Glock 19 frame, and I wanted a comp from the factory, right? I didn't have my heart set on an MR 920p or any of these other things. What I didn't want to do is I didn't want to go buy a Glock 19 and then spend another $400 for a barrel and a ramjet, right? That didn't make sense. You know, we're at $1,200, right? 6,000 ish, and then have to do frame texture and work or anything else to make it. I mean, really a great gun. Adam Magwell. I wasn't familiar with shadow systems. I had looked at them a few times, but I couldn't tell you one from the next. I talked to the counter jockey at the local gun store, and I told him, hey, this is what I want. I want a Glock 19 size gun, and I want a factory comp. And he's like, well, have you ever looked at these? I'm like, nope. I said, I want optics ready. Well, he got me one. It came in. He's like, this is what you asked for. It's exactly what I asked for. It's got a removable back strap, which is to be expected. That's what the customers want nowadays. They want to be able to customize the grip frame. It has a really nice textured frame. It comes with a magazine well. It's optics ready, and it has a comp from the factory. You know, what was it, $10.50 I think is what I paid for it. I appreciate it, man. If you leave a message in my shorts, tell me you were here in the lives, I'll come to your channel and check out your stuff too. But I appreciate the support. So without really knowing too much about shadow systems, I bought it. I've had it out now. We're over 2,000 rounds with it. What I will say is I don't dislike it at all. It's got a okay trigger. It's gotten a little better as we shot it, but it was a 4-pound trigger. It's ran. We've had a couple light primer heights or failure to ignites. I'm not sure if you're saying that to me or not. But the ammunition I had, it was stuff I loaded. The primers and striker fired guns, I've always had a hard time. I always get light strikes on them or failure to ignite. It's not really light strikes. So when I ran that ammo in the shadow systems here, it did exactly what I expected. Other than that, the guns ran 100%. A lot of people talk about a break-in period. I had no break-in period. The gun ran from the start. No failure feeds, no failure ejects, no double feeds. To me, it's fair and reasonable for what it was. She hasn't shot it yet. I was hoping to go out this weekend, would have been the weekend, but we're looking at rain and snow, so maybe next weekend, but soon. I mean, our first match is only, I think, 4 weeks away now. But that gun already fits holsters that I already currently own. It takes just a Glock 17 or holster. So I have right-handed Glock 17 holsters for my other kids. It takes Glock magazines. It has a night sight on the front, and it's optics ready. So a lot of people really hate on their products. A lot of people say you're paying more money than it would cost you for a Glock, but when you do the work to it, you're in it for the same money. I would love to buy more Glock products, but I really don't want to continue to support Glock when they can't give me what I want. Kyle, I need to post more videos. That is the goal for this year, is to do more videos. We did a few, and you only have so many things to do videos on. I mean, I don't have endless firearms at my disposal. I don't have endless range time or endless ammo. So to burn good content or good video ideas on videos that aren't going to go anywhere, it doesn't really make sense. So I focused heavily on shorts, and that really helped get the subscriber level up. I'm focusing heavily now on the lives, which gets me to interact with people like you. And then as we go into summer here and we're able to get out to the range, we will do videos. The short feeds, for what I used them for, it worked. It got me in a lot of people's algorithms, and it created a lot of relationships with other channels, so I'm able to talk with them. I mean, it's cool chatting with people. But I mean, that's the goal for this year. My goal for the overall year is to end 25 at basically double my channel number. I've met each goal that we've set for where I wanted to be on subscribers. Going into the first of the year, I wanted to double my channel. I'm already almost halfway there. My goal was 20,000 subscribers by January. We're at 14 something now. I've shot the P10F. It's a great gun. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. And it comes in at a really great price point. I actually like your train of thought there, and I appreciate the humor. You double tap that screen for me, and I'll answer. I'll honestly give you an answer, and I'll go into reason why I would choose what I do. But if you want to troll, you gotta pay the toll. All right. So wipe with a waffle or a slice of ham. Now, when you say ham, we're not talking Canadian bacon. I would say I would probably use a waffle, preferably frozen, right? A cooked one's just going to turn to mush, and you're not going to accomplish anything. But I don't think I really want to stick a piece of wet, sloppy ham in my ass crack. So if I had to choose one or the other, it would be a package of Eggos, man. You know what I mean? Just go all in. I opened that membership up specifically for you, Scoot. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, pay that troll toll, right? Use that. Everybody's gonna know where it came from. Gotta pay that troll toll. I may even have to get some shirts made with that. It does, dude. It's like, it's disgusting, you know. And then you do stupid stuff like I was saying, where you use sound clips and trends, and man, all these people like that. I don't think it's what anybody wants to put out. I mean, I'm not trying to be that loud, boisterous guy. I'm not trying to get attention. I just want to share my hobby, just like you, man. Right? I mean, you've been doing it a lifetime and then some. I mean, I'm a long ways behind you, but I enjoy it. I enjoy getting out and talking about hobbies and sports. I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that at all. Probably why you say mate all the time, right? Queensland. It absolutely was a groundbreaking invention. But yeah, John, we just want to share, right? Have some kind of impact for the positive. I mean, that's my goal. It's just have an impact. Maybe I can get somebody that is getting new into firearms and give them some advice or give them some ideas, or like I keep saying, introduce them to the fun sport of shooting. I mean, anybody that goes out shooting, anybody that goes out and wants to do mag dumps, they're competition shooters. They just don't know it yet. You know, all the things they're doing out running around doing mag dumps, doing a bunch of transitions, that's what it is. Orange Smoke, how are you doing, man? Hey, since you're here, John Fleming, he's on here. He's got a channel. Check his channel out. That dude has a museum grade collection. I don't think I've ever seen somebody with a collection as large as him. And the dude's banging. Hang out, you'll see. I'm sure he'll comment again. But anyway, Orange Smoke. Yeah, see right there, Orange Smoke. There's John Flame. Phenomenal collection. Check his stuff out. And John, same thing. Or Scoot or anybody else, check out Orange Smoke. Blah 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 blah. The whole, show each other love and respect, and do this all together, show that community support. But I think you did tell me this. I'm thinking back now. I think you did tell me some of this. What did your dad do? No, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this before. I'm pretty sure, because I don't know too many other people. Well, Lion Man, if you want me to answer that, Department of Defense. Yeah, that's what. Yep, I do remember this conversation. Lion Man, double tap that screen, and I'll, I guess, answer that question. Right? Pay the troll toll. Same with you. Was that Braids? Double tap that screen, and I'll answer your question, man. I appreciate it, Sam. So, can you have one? You can have any of them you want. I mean, they're all yours. All you have to do is go purchase them from a store. Lion Man, do I know Bend Over? I know he's got a channel. It's actually, I don't know if that's what you're referring to, or, you know, Bend Over Rover. I have pure love. Hit that like button. I'll gladly answer the question. Well, Braids, it kind of depends on what you're looking for. You got to be really careful in YouTube about talking about prices and stuff. But there's everything from $150 to $12,000 on the table. But yeah, I have a few revolvers. I don't own a lot of them. I like revolvers. I mean, they're on my list. I have a list of firearms I still plan on buying, and they're on the list. Revolvers, they're more for me a recreational toy where it's just something to go enjoy and shoot. Where stuff like my competition pistols, I use them, So I have an easier time buying stuff that I plan on using or I intend to use or my kids are going to use versus stuff that's just fun. But I have fun stuff too. Braids, it's funny because we had this conversation earlier, and the going theory is they're all styrofoam or AI. Tommy, double tap that screen for me, and I'll answer that question, sir. You got to pay the troll toll. Yeah, it's all good, man. I appreciate you stopping in and listening to me talk. I mean, I give you credit for just listening to the guy ramble down. Tommy, I do not have any Canics. I have like virtually zero experience with them. My experience with them has just been checking them out in stores. A lot of people seem to really like them and enjoy them. They don't excite me. They don't really interest me. And because of that, I just have very limited experience with them. Lion, I mean, no, I guess why don't you go ahead and tell me what it is? Tommy, I appreciate you subscribing. If you want, if you like gun content, there's a bunch of really great channels that have shown up and shown support in the comments. John's in here, John Flame, Orange Smoke, not a sponsor, was here earlier, Chanson 243, Sam Moore, a bunch of really great guys, and so them would all be people to check out too. I don't think I'm gonna say anything out loud. There you go. Did you do like a V port on it? Or did you do just the straight line, like the popple hole style ports? I'm not gonna say it, man. I mean, we all know what it says, you know. I mean, right? I'll entertain. We'll talk. We'll joke. But I mean, why would I make a fool of myself for you? Why would I do that? You know, that wouldn't even make sense, would it? I mean, would you make a fool? Would you make a fool of yourself for me? If you say yes, I mean, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's a straight line of the popple holes. Um, there you go. I'm still not gonna say it. It does make sense. Um, like I said, and you've heard me say it already, man. A lot of people like Canics. For me personally, it's not a firearm that interests me. Um, let's face it, right? It's in a similar ballpark as a Glock, uh, and it's not as good as a CZ. You know, so it just, I don't know. It doesn't excite me in any way. Now, if like my kids were into it, or if my kids liked it, or if my kids wanted it, I would buy it. But you know what I mean? And maybe I'm missing out on something really good, right? But I just don't think I am. No, Detroit Lions. I mean, I don't really know much about the Detroit Lions. I'm in Wisconsin, so I mean, everybody knows Wisconsin's got the greatest football teams in the country. I mean, not only do we have the Packers, but we got the Badgers. I mean, it's all right though. Yeah, I think they're fine. I think a lot of people, they're like a Glock alternative. I will say one thing I'll say about Canic is they're giving people great value for the money. You know, they come with 3 or 4 magazines. I think 3. A lot of them have holsters, kind of like the Springfield XDs used to, right? So it gets people into a package at a really affordable price. Um, that's a tough one. I guess for what, right? So a 1911. I mean, it's hard to go. It's hard to beat a 45. But if you want to have a man stopper, or a game stopper, I mean, 357 is probably where it's at. Um, but 45 makes a big hole. I do like 45s the way they shoot, the 1911s. Um, so if I had to choose, I don't know. I don't know if I would want to. I enjoy both cartridges and I enjoy both style of pistol, 1911s and revolvers. A lot of people will really shoot Glocks well once they get um, comfortable with it. They point naturally. It's a good natural point in firearm. I mean, a new shooter, from my experience, a new shooter will pick up a Glock. Now they'll tell you the same thing. I don't like it. It's blocky. You know, it's plastic, but they shoot them well. It's an easy gun to master. Uh, they have the same trigger pull each and every time, and they work. You know, but I mean, you gotta get out there and shoot. Nick, double tap that like screen for me, and I'll gladly answer the question. Got to pay the troll toll. John, we're gonna have to get you doing a live too. You and Orange Smoke. We'll get all you guys. Oh shit! And D Dog Tacticals texted me. Oh, he went to the zoo. Um. So Berettas are okay. Thing that I'll say that a lot of people won't is I'm left-handed. So for a left-handed shooter, Beretta Firearm is a hard gun to use. It's got the transfer bar on the right side of the frame for a left-handed shooter. My thumbs are right there on that bar, so every time I pull that trigger, be it a double action or a single action pull, that transfer bar moves and it messes with my grip. Because of that fact, I own a Beretta and I own a Gerson, a Beretta clone, and I don't really shoot them much. Yeah, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see, let's go back here. Tommy John. I won't say, I think Glocks are overpriced now. Absolutely. I think their triggers should be better than they are. There's no reason a factory gun's got a 5.5 pound trigger, with the exception of law enforcement use. They tend to want heavier triggers. And I agree with you. I probably won't buy any more Glocks until, I won't say never, but until they can start offering what aftermarket or other manufacturers are offering. When they start doing that, I'll consider buying a Glock again. But until they start to catch up to modern times, I'm not going to spend my money with them. Kill, do I remember you? The name sounds familiar, but I can't say I remember a conversation. You'll have to help me out. Absolutely, man. John, I mean, I'll check you out. We'll talk. You don't like the Beretta Neos? I sold a bunch of them when they first came out. I've never shot one, but I thought it was an interesting design. The grip angle, I mean, the gun I found pointed really well, but I didn't shoot it. Kill the purple slide. That's a Ruger 2245 Light. It's a 22 long rifle made by Ruger. Okay. They are. I agree. You know, a Glock 20 years ago was a fair gun. A Glock today, in just about every aspect of it, is behind the curve. I mean, they could even come out, let's be honest, if they were really on the marketing, they could come out with something like a Glock Pro, right? A Glock Pro. Here's the thing, a Glock Pro. Let's have a comped, optics ready, trigger done, fat mag release, probably a fat slide release, mag well, on a gun that's maybe $200 more than a regular Glock. You'd have people and stippling work, you know? Call it a Glock Pro. People would bust their nut over lining up to be able to get that. You know? But like you say, Scoot, it's a Glock. I mean, you know what you're getting. It's like a control standard. I mean, I just think that as a company, they're falling behind. They're not staying in touch with what customers want. Shit, man, they could come out with their Glock PCC or their Glock, not PCC, their AR-15 variant that they developed and submitted to, was it France, I think? Someplace in Europe, they submitted an AR-15 style rifle. I mean, people would blow their load over that too, you know? Or a Glock PCC. If they'd come out and stay with the times and give customers what they want, then they'd innovate. They remind me of H&K, right? H&K could care less about a civilian market. They care about the military and law enforcement sales. And because of that, they don't give customers necessarily what they want. Yeah, and I mean, like you see on the table here, Rich, I bought one. I bought a Shadow Systems. I bought it for my daughter, you know. I listed a set of requirements without really knowing what I was looking for her. And when we checked all the boxes, that fit the box, you know? I don't know. I mean, look at how long it took them to come out with a 380 in the US, you know? The P95 I'm not familiar with. Was it the P85? P90 Rugers? I shot them back in the day. I had some. We do have great freedom. Nick, I guess I kind of skipped you. It depends. You're going to have to refine that so a little bit more. Like, just favorite gun to use for a purpose, for hunting, for shooting, or just something I love shooting more than anything else. If my all around favorite gun that I enjoy, and it's generally, I just shoot it. I don't take other people with me. I don't take other guns with me. But my M1A, I really enjoy shooting that gun. I don't shoot it a lot because I'm usually busy doing other things. But I make time usually a couple times a summer, and I go out just for an afternoon with my M1A and just enjoy the gun. I really enjoy that rifle. I have I have more than most people and not as many as others. But I own a few firearms. Yeah, M1A is nice. That was a gun I wanted when I was a little kid, and I bought one. I've never tried the Huxworks. I've not done a lot of research on them either. Only thing that ever, when they first came out, that flow through design, I always wondered, how do you clean it? You know what I mean? But my M1A, I have a Scout Squad, so it's not like a Fulton Armory or something. It's just an 18-inch barrel instead of the 22-inch barrel. It's got national match iron sights. And it's got a phenomenal trigger. I mean, I shoot that gun. I shoot it with iron sights. I hit plates 200-300 yards out with it, effortlessly. I mean, it's easy to shoot. It's easy to shoot accurately. It's a super smooth cycling action. It's been reliable. It's 308, so it packs a punch, right? I bet. I think a lot of people would have. When were you in the service? I mean, the fact is M16A1 says probably 70s. I think by end of 70s they were already to the A2. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to be a historian there. Huh. In the 80s. So you guys already had the A2s though, didn't you? Because you would have had the modern A2 sight. I mean, you didn't have the A1 carrying handle. Well, you might have, I guess, right? There may have still been some surplus. So, serious question. What do you shoot with the Barrett? Listen, man. I wish I could look at you right now and say this in person, looking you in the eye. But I'm gonna say this. So try to picture somebody's looking at you. Or look in a mirror. Do a favor and look in the mirror. And I'm gonna say this. Man, it's a fucking Barrett 50 BMG. You can shoot any goddamn thing with that you want. Yeah. It's an honest answer though, right, Orange Smoke? Knights, how are you doing? No, man, it's a Barrett. I'm good. It's Friday. Clearly doing a live, getting to meet some new people, which is always cool. John Flamen here is showing a lot of support. He's got a cool channel. If you haven't, check him out. Orange Smoke, he's here. I think I was talking. You may have been gone, but I was definitely bringing your channel up, and he's got some really cool stuff too. He's got some badass guns too. A lot of you guys that come in the comments and show support, you guys all have cool stuff, you know. Yeah, anything we want, you know. So you remember the quote, you know, God made man, Sam Colt made him equal. I agree with that. But Ronnie Barrett made man king. No, we don't have any waiting period on firearms. You have your background check. You know, usually people go through right away. If you get delayed, then you gotta wait. 21 to purchase a handgun. There's no special restrictions for AR-15s or AKs, none of that goofy shit. We have no magazine restrictions of any kind. We have concealed carry with a permit. It's easy to get a concealed carry permit in the state. We have constitutional carry, so open carry. We have the ability to own anything you want that's federally legal. So you'll have to do like NFA paperwork, short barrel shotgun, short barrel rifle, suppressors. Scoot, I appreciate you hanging out, man. I'm glad we got a chance to talk. But no, they're not hard laws. I mean, as far as hunting laws go, there's no restrictions for like deer hunting. If you're in Ohio, so we have no restrictions. We can use rifles throughout the state. They do have, like obviously for deer, for handgun limitations, you got to have a certain barrel length. I think it's bigger or longer than 5 inches. But yeah, Wisconsin's a pretty decent state for firearms rights. There's no special like you have to have a permit to buy ammunition or permit to buy a firearm. There's none of that. There's no firearm registration in the state of Wisconsin. So you go to the store, you purchase your gun, you fill out your 4473, you come home. You don't have to notify law enforcement. Law enforcement's not coming to check on you. So it's. I mean, I know a lot of other states are the same or better. Some are worse, but I personally think that our firearm rights are pretty intact, I guess is the way to say it. They're intact. D-Dog, we were talking about you a second ago. I saw you text me. Obviously, I wasn't able to open up the message. Basketball, or pack baseball. Hey, D-Dog, since you're here, you'll see in the comments that John Flamen, or Flame, I'm saying his last name wrong. I know I am. Check his channel out, bro. That dude's got he's got a museum grade collection. I have never seen anybody with that much and that nice of stuff. This guy, I mean, if he were here, I would do absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible collection. I don't know, man. I mean, I can tell you this. I didn't vote for Evers. I will admit, I did vote for Tammy Baldwin. And only because she's on the Defense Acquisition Committee. And being I work in the defense field, I don't want somebody else getting that job. She brings a lot of contracts, a lot of DoD contracts to my state. So for me, I don't agree with who she is as a person. I don't necessarily like her politics, but financially, I mean, it kind of made sense. Right, Orange Smoke? I like that. Yeah, I mean, legitimately, I was just mentioning you. Behes, double tap that like screen for me, but we're in America. The greatest third world nation to ever exist. Everybody hates us, but they all want to be like us. And if it wasn't for us, they'd all be speaking German or Japanese. Yeah, man. You don't have to. You don't have to say that. Like I said, man, we were talking. You know, I could tell you're getting frustrated. I mean, we all are. At the zoo. It's a good day for it. Yeah. That's always impressive when somebody that's been doing it a long time takes you and does the show and tell, you know, especially the stuff that, you know, you got to really know somebody to get shown. There you go. Our state was like yours, man. We got locked down hard during the COVID, um, and they were dicks about it. Like for my job, we had to have a letter that said we were essential workers, that we weren't to be interfered with, and we were expected to carry it. And I didn't personally get stopped, but I know people we worked with, they were pulled over. Where are you going? What are you doing? You know, this is a lockdown. You're not supposed to be out just chilling. You know, but that COVID, I mean, that was a fucked up time. That was so messed up. D-Dog, I'm sure you see Tommy's comment. I don't think I've ever even handled a real Colt Walker. Have any of you guys ever been to the Firearms Museum, the NRA Firearms Museum in Virginia? I went there a few years ago, and that's impressive. Another really cool place to go if you like firearms is in Illinois, the Rock Island Armory. That's the test and improving grounds for small arms for the United States military, and has been, I mean, for forever. They have on display number 1, number 2, number 3 M1 Garand. They have, I mean, any significant prototype firearm that's ever been introduced and tested, and even some really obscure ones they have there. I mean, it's a testing facility for the U.S. military, but it's Rock Island Armory. It costs you nothing. It's absolutely free. You're going on base, so the first thing you do on base is you go to the guard, I don't know what you want to call it, the guard shack, and you have to do paperwork. You got to fill out questions. They run your information. They run a background check, and you either get approved or get denied. If you're not a felon, domestic abuser, blah, 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 blah. If you can purchase a firearm, you've never been a traitor or treason, they let you on the base. They give you an ID. You drive through base. You go to the Rock Island Arsenal Museum. You walk in, the first thing you see is belt-fed guns sitting on the floor. You damn near trip over them. I mean, some of the stuff is behind glass, and a lot of it isn't. So, like Orange Smoke, you're not extremely far away from that. A lot of you guys probably aren't. That's really cool. Really, really cool. There ain't shit else there to see. But if you like firearms, you like military style firearms, you like the historical thing, that's really cool. The NRA Firearms Museum, if you want to see any significant firearm ever ever, you go there. Yeah, man, if you're close and you can make it, I'll say this, it's cool enough that if you have to drive the day before, stay in a hotel, see it, hotel, and then come home, it's worth it. You won't be disappointed. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool. But I mean, Forever, they're the ones who not only like initially tested, but they co-designed, co-developed, co-engineered, lots of military stuff. I mean, they have, if it's been submitted to military trials, they're gonna have it there, and they're not gonna have like, just an off-rack example. They're gonna have the test models, the examples that they didn't destroy. The history there is just incredible, and it's not like I said, there's a bunch of stuff, display cases, but when you walk in, you're damn near tripping on belt-fed machine guns. They're just sitting there. There's nothing that says don't. I mean, I think they have signs, but you could, you know what I mean? You're not going to pick it up and handle it, but there's nobody standing there saying don't touch, don't sneeze, don't. I mean, it's a military base, So with that comes a certain amount of responsibility, like, hey, but oh, you're talking the NRA Firearms Museum? Absolutely, dude. That's really cool too. You can go through it in a day, no problem. But if you really enjoy firearms and you're gonna want to stop and read on them, I'd plan 2 days at least. We were rushed. We went there. We went to Washington, D.C. one year over the 4th of July. And while we were there, we stayed in Baltimore. We went to D.C. during the day. While we were there, my son wanted to swim in the ocean. Like, all right, cool. So, I mean, we're on the East Coast. We drove down to Virginia Beach so I could take him swimming in the ocean. And I had a friend that lived there, so we went and saw them. But on the way there, we stopped at the NRA Firearms Museum. It was a little rushed because they wanted to go to the beach, right? It was a drive. I mean, it were hours. But Dragon's Man's Museum too, that would be pretty wild. I'd even like to hit one of his range days. His museum tours, I think he does them twice a day, and I forget how many people he takes through on his tours, but it's not like you just show up and go through. But that man's amassed a living museum too. I mean, cool thing about all his stuff, Leroy. Cool thing about all his stuff is it's all functional. Nothing's deactivated. Hey, Woo, how are you doing? I mean, obviously, right? I've never met the man in person, but he seems like a pretty cool motherfucker. I guarantee the dude knows how to have a good time. No, it's not a WA2000. It's a Springfield Hellion, a VHS2. Had people in the last live I did the other day, yesterday, asking to see it. Specifically, hey, can you have that out and show it? So, I mean, there it is. It's a nice rifle. It shoots well. It's accurate. Trigger sucks. But I really like the gun. Only thing that would make me say I don't want to shoot this all the time, that I would replace an AR-15 with it. Was it yesterday? Day before? I thought it was yesterday. Whenever it was, maybe 2 days ago, maybe it was Wednesday. But whenever I did the last one, yesterday or day before, I had people asking about it. Why did he hang up on you? Hold on, I can answer that. Let me go back. Yeah, 21 hours ago. I did one yesterday. 2.5 hours. So yeah, 21 hours ago. Yeah, no, there was one yesterday, 21 hours ago. I'm running out of time to be able to do lives. I mean, we're almost in the heart of shooting now. Um, so a lot of my time will be taken up with that, which we'll be making outdoor footage, right? But I'm not going to have hours available to just sit here and chill. So I'm trying to make the best of it I can. Yeah, I mean there was one yesterday. Uh, I usually end them about 5 o'clock. That's when my wife comes home. Um, Depending on what time I leave work, I either work till 1:30 in the afternoon or 2:30 in the afternoon. Um, but I'll start them right away, and I do it now or this time because there's a lot of other people that do lives, a lot of other firearm streamers or tubers, whatever you want to call them, and I don't want to step on their dick. I mean, I guess I don't really care, but I'm not going to make people choose me or them or this or that. So I just kind of pick this time niche. I catch a lot of people leaving work or coming home or whatnot, so it works. Um, that's you know huh? I don't know. No, I don't own the MRAD. So that's the optic that you would use with the MRAD. I have tried purchasing several now, uh, and it just hasn't happened yet. I would like to have one because that's part of the deployment package set up. Um, and that's the rifle, that's the deployment package. That's the issued item right there. Their optic, their mount, their, you know what I mean? Um, so at some point, yes, I'll have one. I haven't been able to reasonably secure one. I have several AKs. Um, I won't say I dislike them. Uh, they're nice. I mean, some of them you can really do a lot with. The Zenical furniture, I mean, it's kind of cool because it's authentic, you know. Yeah, he did his AR receivers, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he's a dick. I don't know. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he had to go poop. I don't know. So favorite 22 long rifle. My favorite um, rifle in 22. I built a Ruger 1022 years ago. I put an Adams and Bennett barrel, of a Corstron trigger in it, a Hogue over molded stock, and some other things. I really enjoy shooting that 22 rifle. As far as 22 pistols, on the table I have that camo, black, white, and grayish looking one. That's a Volkorstern Black Mamba. Um, that's like top of the line 22 pistol you're gonna buy. It's an $1,800 gun. It's you know, I mean, you're not gonna buy a 22 semi-automatic unless you get into an Olympic gun, right? And I don't know anything about them, so I can't speak on it. But if you want to buy the top of the top semi-automatic 22 style competition pistol, it's a Black Mamba or the Volkorstern. I won't necessarily say Black Mamba, but it's a Volkorstern. I don't own any Vectors. You're talking the Chris Vector, right? I don't any Chris Vector. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you would have seen. Correct. That's a Shadow Systems MR920P. I bought that for my daughter this year for her birthday. She'll be shooting that for USPSA here in I think 4 weeks is the first match. Make sure you guys are double tapping that like screen for me. That really helps. Call it the troll toll, right? The purple gun up there is a Ruger 2245 Light. It's a 22 long rifle semi-automatic pistol. That was a Lipsy special, so it came with the red dot on it. There's no iron sights on that pistol, but that one also I bought for my daughter to shoot competition. That's supposed to be for Steel Challenge. She likes it. She likes the way it looks, but she's been really slow with wanting to shoot it. The red dot really gives her a hard time, which we all know it's going to get better. Oh, you're talking, must be talking one of mine. So that that's that rifle I have with the fold-in stock. That's a Deadfoot Arms. Deadfoot Arms is here in Wisconsin, and again, you guys can take this or not, but we went to a machine gun shoot they were at, and I brought my Bushmaster Type 97 carbine 15, and they were intrigued with it. I didn't know who these guys were yet. They didn't have a company, but they were looking at the gun. They were interested in the gun. We took it apart. They looked at the way the buffer system worked and this stuff. The following year, they were out there and they started designing that Deadfoot Arms full-in stock. The example I have in there is actually one of their prototype specials. They gave it to me. Maybe they bought my silence to say that they copied that carbine 15 Bushmaster, but yeah, I know I keep saying stuff like it was a prototype. It's just the way it worked out. I had an opportunity to do a lot of shooting over the years. I've been at a lot of different things, and I chat with people. The Deadfoot Arms, I would never pay for one of them. I don't think they're worth the money. It's cool. Like I said, I know where they got the design for the buffer system in it. That was really cool. They 100% copied the Bushmaster bolt. They 100% copied the Bushmaster bolt weight. It's a direct copy, but they added the folding mechanism to it, and it works. The gun runs. All right, Orange Smoke, you be good. I'm glad we got to hang out again. Wish you the best luck on everything you got going on. It's all right, man. We'll catch you next time. I'm going to shut this off in about 10 minutes anyway. That's kind of long enough. 2 of my dogs are locked upstairs, and the other one's wandering around here. He keeps bringing me his bone. He wants to play. I don't hunt anymore. I used to. We leased hunting land, and we lost that. And my mom passed away because I used to hunt on the farm too. Again, we'll catch you another time. But I used to do all the Wisconsin type hunting, turkeys, ducks, pheasant, squirrels, rabbits, deer. I don't anymore. Part of it, as a younger person, it was nice to go out and get a couple deer, because that would feed my family for the year. And your initial investment in hunting is a little pricey, but after you own your rifle and your orange and all that crap, you just got to buy your tag and go sit. So that was what I did. Double tap that like screen for me, no love. And I'll gladly answer that question for you. I'm not sure what you mean. You guys got to double tap that like screen for me, and I'll more than happily answer your questions. As consider it a troll tool, right? Um, simple double tap on that screen, and you know what I mean. So I'm not sure which one of you. I just know one of you did. So the Ruger 2245. I'm not sure what you mean by what style is stronger. The Brown and High Power. I don't own any Brown and High Powers. I would like to. I've looked at them. I haven't bought one. I do intend to at some point. I actually want to buy the Gerson version. I want to get their deluxe. So it's the titanium nitrided with the engraving. I'd like one of their 1911s too. Not that they're great guns or anything else. They just look cool. Kind of like I have one of their Beretta clones, and it's their MC Deluxe. It's titanium nitrided, so it looks gold, and it's all engraved too. So I definitely appreciate you guys hitting that button for me, and you know it helps. It helps the YouTube overlords say, "Hey, man, people are enjoying this conversation." How much was everything on the table? I assume that's what you're asking. Man, a lot. There's over 25 grand sitting there. Yeah, I'm not even sure what that is. You know, one thing to say, when you look at people's firearms or their collection, it's easy to be like, oh man, that's a bunch of money. Nobody bought every firearm they own at once. You know, what I have is my lifetime worth of buying and collecting firearms at this point. John, what he has is his lifetime worth of buying and collecting firearms, and vice versa. D-Dog, Orange Smoke, all them guys, you know, it's one firearm at a time. It's one, you know, be it putting money in the bank account, putting money in an envelope, doing a layaway at the store. But everybody does it the same way. As you get into firearms, as you enjoy more firearms, the prices go up, right? Because the easy ones, the obtainable ones, are always the cheap ones. That's where you start. As you gain more experience and as you get going, I do. I've given hints to them, but I haven't shown any of them on the channel yet. That'll come. I've shown one safe. I have 4. The safe that I show, the firearms I keep pulling, are the things that I use the most. They're easy to get to. Yeah, man, I don't eat lunch at work. Man, my pants I buy from eBay. I buy used pants. I don't buy brand new pants. I'm cheap, you know. I don't want to say cheap, but I try to live frugally, you know. I don't go out to eat all the time. I eat at home. I don't go buy, you know, super expensive shoes. When I buy stuff though, I buy nice stuff. You know, I got no problem spending money on firearms. I got no problem spending money on my bikes. But I try to, I mean, it's just a way to have money for other things. You know, I don't have cable. We have, you know, Netflix and YouTube, um, Disney, Hulu. You know, I don't drive a brand new car. I, you know, all the things like you, John. You know, it's we all only have so much money. Some people, they're afraid to spend it. I enjoy spending it on things I enjoy. My kids don't want for nothing. I mean, they get whatever they want. They do karate. My daughter does dance and karate. Plus all the shooting we do. You know, we have a camper and shit. But I try to save money. You know, my gun money is usually overtime hours. You know, if I want extra money, I have to work overtime. I got to work more. The 40 hours a week, that pays all our bills, right? That's like it should. It should pay your bills. That buys the kids clothes. That does all that stuff that way. But the fun extra stuff, that's overtime. I mean, I generally work minimum 50 hours a week. More times than not, I'm working 60 plus hours. If I really want something, I'm working Saturdays and Sundays too. We get a bunch of holidays. I'll work my holidays. We get triple time on holidays. So there's holidays I'll go in, and we don't work Christmas, but we'll work our shutdown time over Christmas, and I'll work. You know, I could have a week off paid, or I go in and I work that week 10s or 12-hour shifts, and I make triple time. So I want things. I work them hours. You know, that's the only way. Man, it's the only way I know to get ahead or get anything in life. I would love somebody just to hand something to me. I would love to have been born into it. But the only way I know to get anything, is to go to work. You know, wake up in the morning and be like, man, this sucks. Oh, but I'm buying this gun. At least that motivates me. Or, hey, we're gonna go shoot in 2 weeks. I got to make sure I have extra money. Or, you know, I don't know. I wish I were maybe higher educated, you know, making doctor pay or something. And, you know, but I'm not. I'm just a blue collar guy who works as much as I can. And when I'm not at work, I want to enjoy the things I enjoy. I like spending time with the kids. I like spending time with family. I like chilling at home. I like my dogs. I love my motorcycles. You know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have been able to. I'm blessed to have been into, had a stable job. You know, over 20 years there. I've been married for 28. You know, so I don't have alimony and child support. You know, I know a lot of people don't have them opportunities. You know, and some people, I mean, they bust their back, right, D-Dog? I mean, I don't have to work hard at my job. Probably why I've been there forever. I just have to, you know, be able to know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's. I mean, I think that the dirty truth that nobody wants to admit when they talk about the American dream, it's a man or a woman that understands that if they want to get anywhere in life, that they have to show up. And they not only have to show up today, they have to show up tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. You know, I made it. I don't have to work anymore, or I don't have to work hard. I don't know anybody that's worked for. Nobody. Everybody I know, like you guys, has been the guy who's just day in, day out and grind. And, you know, it's a little bit at a time. Every day, I'm better than I was yesterday. Every day, I'm in a different position than I was yesterday. It may not always be for the better, but as long as I keep doing something every day to better myself, you know, you just keep making you keep making momentum or getting places. It's like being in the mud in a truck, right? As long as you keep them wheels going and you get a little bit of speed going in that vehicle, I mean, you may not necessarily be going forward, but as long as you keep moving, you never get stuck. When you get stuck and you stop, you know, just pushing that way, you don't go anywhere, man. You know, the guys who start a job and they think they're going to be making top dollar or have all the extra perks and benefits, man, for me, that never worked. You got to put your time in, you got to pay your dues, right? I mean, there's no easy days. You know, I would love to, I would love to have something given to me, but I mean, none of us, right? I know damn well none of you got anything given to you. Y'all worked for it, you know. Go home at the end of the day and be like, man, what the fuck is this? What is this? You know, what life is this? I feel like a slave. And then your old lady hands you your kid, right? Your little baby, or you know, you come in, your dogs are happy to see you. I mean, that makes you a wealthy person. That makes you rich, you know. I hear you. Always, always, always doing other things. Like I said, my employment, I move areas, um, so I haven't had to change necessarily professions, but I changed. Midwest perspective. I was waiting for you to show up, man. If you notice, if you notice that top right corner, sir, what is that? Yes, sir. Sig 320. A lot of people, I say this over and over, a lot of people like them. There you go, sir. You ask and I will deliver. That's my, oh, I was trying to think of the parts yesterday. Uh, the company that makes the extended bolt release, it's Manticore. And I also found something else new, man. I was looking up parts this morning trying to remember what company that was. Jared. We all know Jared Triggers. They make trigger components now for the Hellion. And I was at work. I had to go, so I didn't really spend any time looking real in depth on the site, but they absolutely make parts for the trigger. And then Manticore, they make the extended bolt release and safeties. I had to look it up. I couldn't think of what it was yesterday, and I expect and anticipating that you would show up today when you got off your run. I made sure I found that information for you. Honestly, everything else that's out today is just for conversation and talking, but I wanted to make sure that Hellion was out because you specifically asked. But another guy, right? I was just going on my little tangent talking about people day in, day out. I mean, Midwest here, you know, he's another one, man. Show up every day. Just grind, grind, grind. I mean, what foregrip do you have on yours? Or the actual foregrip? I put that MOE on there. I tried the regular like vertical pistol grip, and it didn't feel good. I like that angled grip, and I don't like it. I don't necessarily like that style foregrip, but for me on that, I like it. For like on my CZ Scorpion, I have that on there too. And on that gun, I really like that grip too. But on like an AR or something, I think they're dog shit. James, double tap that like screen for me. That's the troll tool. Oh, on the actual, like, the pistol grip. I thought about changing it, but honestly, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It's a nice grip. I mean, my daughter's still shooting. She shot last night, and then she'll shoot again this Sunday. She's got a few more weeks yet. She's doing good. Sometimes she does really, really well, and then other times she struggles. I think we all do it. I mean, you know, it'll be interesting here in a few weeks. We'll be out shooting. My daughter is 11. So, what match is on Sunday? I think you said, what, last week? It's supposed to be Steel Challenge, so USPSA, I assume? We all have good days and bad days. We all have good matches and bad matches. I tell my son all the time, and this is something that used to bother me when I really, really was trying hard. And I wanted to win. You know, if I had a bad stage, dude, I beat myself up over it. And now I tell myself every stage is a new match. Every stage is a new match. You did shit on the last one. So heck, it might. I keep that here so maybe they won't shoot the dog. That was my son. A couple of years ago, he had an outfit, and on Halloween he took the dog walking, and he kept telling people, "See, we like dogs." It was a Halloween costume. I like what he did. It was funny, but you know, yeah, it can, you know, and I mean when you beat yourself up, and I stopped shooting for a few years because it wasn't fun anymore. So that little 22, it feels like you're shooting a Magnum. It wants to come out your hand. It's not accurate. It leaves soot all over your hands, but it's kind of cool. Just kind of talking, man. But you know, you go out and you have a bad day. I wasn't there to shoot anymore. I wasn't there to have fun. I was there to try and win, and everything around that was that way, and it stopped being fun, and so I stopped doing it for a while. You know, a couple years ago, we started getting back into it, and like even last year when we were working towards that sectional match, my son, you know, a couple times he's like, "Dad, this isn't fun." It was fun, but I started taking it serious. Like, man, we got to get out, we got to practice, we got to have, and he's right, man. It isn't supposed to be work. It's supposed to be fun. Sticks, I appreciate you showing up. Lowballing Outdoors, I appreciate you showing up. Stone Bud, same with you. Prasanna, Puff, if I didn't say y'all. Jonah, I appreciate y'all showing up. Double tap that like screen for me. Call it a troll toll, right? I'll answer questions more than glad to, but show some like on that stuff. Hold on, I'm losing it here. The bullpup, it's a Springfield Hellion. That's the Croatian service rifle. The Iraqi army copied it. In Croatia, they call it a VHS-2. I think that's what they call it in Iraq too, but they use whatever jibber jabber they use. Springfield imports into the U.S. and they import it under the name Springfield Hellion. Yeah, you know, it's a competition, you know, but at the end of the day, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a good time, you know. So 50 BMG stands for 50 caliber Browning machine gun. The 50 caliber round was created by John Moses Browning, right, John? I know you're still here. And he designed it for his belt-fed machine guns. .50 caliber is the diameter of the bullet. It's 1/2 inch, 0.50. So I hope that answers the question the best I can. Old Mac Truck, how are you doing? Hatesburg, Mississippi. Hattiesburg? How am I saying that? My go-to weapon for self-defense. I mean, honestly, the right weapon that I would choose would be whichever one I could get to first, or which one I had on me. I would never choose a pistol over a rifle if I had access to a rifle, right? If you're choosing a rifle or pistol, bigger is always better than smaller. You know, if you can put a 1/2 inch hole in something or a 22 caliber hole in something, you're gonna go bigger. But the right options, whatever you have. You know, somebody's carry pistol or carry gun, the right option is whatever they have, whatever they're gonna have with them is the right choice. I hope that makes sense. I mean, I don't think I really answered the question, but maybe, kinda. You know, that's one of the things too, D-Dog. Yeah, I try to remember now is I enjoy I enjoy just as much as going shooting. I enjoy the firearms, right? I enjoy the nice stuff, you know. It's part of it. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable, you know. Supposed to feel cool, right? I mean, you have a good stage and everybody looks at you like, God damn, you know. Or I love it when my kid runs good stages, you know, like, yeah. Or my daughter, you know, people are like, hell yeah, Harley, you know, and she gets all pumped and excited, you know, it's cool. Absolutely. You know, I don't know if there's a best gun for home defense or a best gun for, you know, personal defense or any of that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for my own self, I don't know that a rifle would be better than a pistol. I don't know. I mean, a shotgun would be better. 'Cause you could paint any scenario you want. Multiple home invaders coming home and there's, you know, armed people or, you know, these things. There's too many options, you know. In a home, I think you're absolutely on it. That the firearm you should be proficient with it. You should be able to shoot across your house accurately, right? For lack of a better definition, if there's a hostage and you had to save your child's life that somebody has a knife to their throat, could you make that shot comfortably, proficiently, and fast without thinking twice? You know? In that situation, would a shotgun be the right choice of weapon? Probably not. Would a little snubby revolver be the right choice? I don't know. That's generally what I have here. But again, shooting across my house, could I do a headshot? Absolutely. You know, would there be better options? Probably. Yeah. Or a 1022, man. I mean, everybody has their own opinion or reasoning to decide what weapon they should use. I remember for a while the 1919s, you could buy them in like the early 2000s for $1,100. I did see your message too about the 50. I'm sorry, I got off topic. Um, yeah, you don't. So let me explain this, right? When I got my dog, I was gone a lot. I was gone mostly on the weekends. And I got an American Bulldog. They're a large dog. They're an aggressive dog, and they're very territorial. I chose that dog because I don't know if my wife would shoot somebody. I don't know if somebody kicked the front door and if she would think, I got to get my fucking ass out of this chair and go grab a pistol. But what I do know, what I absolutely do know, is that dog's going to light somebody up. You know, I have the female and then the puppy now, and they're the same way. They will light somebody up. That's not going to stop an aggressor. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you time to escape or fight, right? You know, and two, like D-Dog, sometimes people's choices, like if you live in the country, are you worried about pass through on a wall? Are you worried about the neighbor's house? Probably not, right? In the country, would you, again, home defense would also mean property defense. Are you likely, and I was when I lived on a farm, right? There's coyotes, fox, stray dogs, you know, are you going to have to shoot something? Different requirements, you know, for a country type person. I don't know that that would be the right choice, and a rifle may. Reaper, how are you doing? I was on your stuff earlier today, man. I missed your live. Actually, I was on your live for about 10 seconds. You were doing concrete. I left you a comment. I think I even said in the comment, you're not going to see this because you're not watching the live because you're working. Make that money. But I saw you earlier. But like, people in the city, do you live in a ranch home? Do you live in an apartment complex? You know, them things are all going to come into somebody's choice. I mean, one of the worst things to happen in a self-defense situation or in general is to have a round leave your property, a round leave your house, accidental discharge, purposeful, whatever, and hit your neighbor's property. You're going to jail. You know, that's a crime. You know, somebody has a ranch house and they have kids. I mean, a shoot through, a pass through could be a major concern. You know, definitely if you lived in apartments or something, you know. There you go. Rex Lex is there. Double tap that screen. Both of you guys, a couple of you just jumped in here. Double tap that screen. When I see a couple likes show up, I'll answer your guys' questions about if they're real or not. You know, the other thing with home defense, and D-Dog, you'll get this, right? I can pick up any firearm I own, and I'm comfortable with it. My middle son's comfortable with it. You know what I mean? But my wife or my daughter, that's a whole nother situation. I think my daughter is probably more comfortable with firearms than my wife. My wife knows how to shoot. She's accurate, but she's not proficient. Yeah, negligent discharges or accidental discharges, they leave your property and hit your neighbor's house. I mean, it's a crime. You broke the law. Absolutely. And I'll keep doing it. You know, like I told you when we talked the first time, I will show everybody channel or everybody the same appreciation you show me. I mean, it's supposed to be how life works. Give what you get, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Did he get a felony out of it, or did he just get a misdemeanor and lost it? I mean, you used your firearm, accidental discharge, negligent discharge, you used it, a crime was committed, you lose it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely not a felony. Probably like reckless endangerment, right? Would be my guess. Or, I mean, I think that's probably what they would start charges with around here, and then you get it pled down to maybe discharging a firearm in the city limits or something like that. But yeah, they're gonna hammer you. I don't know how you guys do it, but like I have my carry gun, and in my house, we have a target on the wall that when we're checking guns, when we're casing, on casing, we point at this target. Now, theory says if a round goes off and it hits this target on the wall, that selectively, that's in an upward, safe direction where it's not going to impact at least my neighbor's property. You know, so we use that. Well, they do. I mean, that's criminal justice systems at its finest. Charge you with the most, make you fight for the least, and take a bunch of your time and money in the process. Look, Aspro, double tap that screen, throw a like on the channel, and when I see that, I'll gladly answer. There you go. So what gun is a good starter gun for somebody? A good starter gun for somebody that's got little to no experience, my opinion would always be a 22 semi-automatic pistol or rifle. It gets you out, gets you shooting, gets you learning the basics of firearms. Then you can go up from there. If you're comfortable, like D-Dog just said, a great starter gun for a lot of people would be a Glock. They're simple, they're reliable, they work, and it's an easy gun to master. So yeah. You know, honestly, too, anybody that owns firearms, they all have 22s. It's fun sometimes to return to the basics. It's fun sometimes. I catch myself doing it. I know everybody does it. You get shooting a lot. You're around a lot of people shooting. You start flinching. We go back to basics. We go back to just accuracy and yeah, it's a great learning tool. But it's a great foundation. I have that Glock 44, and it's a cool little pistol, man. I don't think they've gotten as much love as they probably should. They're overpriced. I mean, they're a good $150 more expensive than they should be, but it's a great little pistol. That's my daughter loves it, man. You know, that would be a good gun for somebody to learn on that maybe wanted to progress into something to carry. You know. But I think it's 6 o'clock. I'm gonna shut this down. I absolutely appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out and chatting. We gotta get some of you guys up on your lives. It's I don't know. It's interesting. You know what would be really cool is if you guys and we can if we like did a joint live, but just to be able to actually have the conversation versus typing. You know, when I type, it looks like a drunken dyslexic Mexican wrote my stuff half the time. I mean, it's miserable for me, and it's miserable for the people that I'm trying to correspond with. Round table talk, exactly, man. You know, I mean, the thing I'll say about the lives is I started doing them, and I really like the connections or the conversations, and that's why I'm saying, you know, to be able to have more of a conversation versus just me sitting here rambling on. I mean, I would love to sit down with every one of you and we talk for days, right? I mean, it wouldn't be, what do you think of this? It wouldn't be, what do you think of that? It would be, we'd be talking about, you know, the actual firearms. I mean, D-Dog and I would sit and talk about CZs, and we'd make fun of staccato owners, and I shouldn't say that because I think Knight's here has a staccato, but we make fun of staccato owners and the Canic owners. you know. Yeah, I've, I've been thinking about doing Discord. Uh, I'm not sure what the Dura 9mm is. Okay, well, good. Since you don't have a staccato, I talk shit to them too. I talk shit to them, especially when we shoot a stage. They're done shooting and they have to go sit down and take apart every single magazine they have. And we all know it's because they're too fucking good to come out and paste somebody else's targets. But that's fine, you know? That's fine. I'll check out Telegram. Um, Michael double tap that screen for me, but yeah, it's a Ruger 2245 Lite. You know, staccato owners. They're the guys wearing the skinny khaki pants that are probably too small. Maybe they're stretchy and that's why they're that tight. They're always got the either the flower Hawaiian button shirt or just a button shirt that's 2 sizes too small and missing a couple buttons, and they all got that goddamn porn stash. Every one of them. If I'm wrong, I'm not wrong, because that's how they all look. There's something about that, you know? You own a Harley, you have a goatee, a beard, and you're a little trashy looking. You know? You own a Glock, well, you probably don't own a belt, right? But, you know, the funny thing is too is when you start talking to people about staccatos and they're jizzing, right? They're jizzing all over talking about what? I'll have to look at that when we're done. I don't have full sleeves, but I got tattoos. I'm a Harley guy too, right? I mean, yeah. Are you Canadian? No, I'm not Canadian. But it's all right. But with that, gentlemen, sticks, all you guys. If you didn't double tap the screen, if you didn't, check out one another's channel. I think next time I do a live, rather than having this stupid sign, I'm gonna just put up a target and write all your guys' channels down. And I would love every one of you to be doing lives. I would love to meet every one of you guys on the range, right? That's the goal. I would love for you guys who don't go out and shoot competition to be like, man, if this old schmuck can do it and his kids can do it, then I can do it. And that's absolutely what I'm trying to convey and the message I'm trying to send. Knights, go on my channel and leave that in a short so I can find it, because here in about 5 seconds when I end this, I won't be able to find that. So go there and leave a message. Then I'll go on that channel preferably, because then I can just do a link right to your channel. But with that, gentlemen, ladies, things, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you hanging out. I appreciate getting to know you guys even more. So with that, I'll catch you another time. I don't know that I'm gonna get another one this weekend, but we'll do some more. I'm getting real close on them hours. I don't want to take any of your guys' money, but I absolutely want to take YouTube's money. So that's where I'm at. With that, gentlemen, ladies, things, I wish you all the best, and I'll catch you next time.